Good evening. Lloydminster RCMP is asking for the public's help in locating a wanted man. Police are looking for this suspect, Lee Anthony Hanam. Now, the 36-year-old is wanted in connection for breach of parole, possession of stolen property, and flight from police. The charges stem from an incident yesterday. Anyone with information is asked to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Now, a startling new report from the Canadian Forces Ombudsman says some members of Four Wing and Cold Lake have to take second jobs to make ends meet. Now, it says the cost of living in Cold Lake has increased significantly in recent years, driven largely by growth in the local oil and gas industry. Now, as many as 35% of the members of one squadron have to take second jobs, and the investigation also shows that some in the Air Force choose to retire rather than accept a posting at the base. The Ombudsman says there is little off-base accommodations available, and rent for military housing at Cold Lake is double what's charged at bases in Nova Scotia and Quebec. The report recommends that the National Defence reestablish a posting allowance that reflects economic conditions around the base. Well, agriculture is a big driving force behind the Alberta economy, stretching to every part of the province. Now, every year, the Provincial Agriculture Service Board puts on a tour where representatives from each municipality get together for a week-long conference. Now, this year, it's being hosted by the MD of Bonnyville. Now, as Clayton Brown explains, the conference kicked off with a quick visit to Four Wing Cold Lake.
For the next 3 days, nearly 500 Albertans from every corner of the province will be in the Lakeland getting a taste of what the area has to offer.
It's an opportunity for the municipality to showcase their place to everybody else throughout the province. So we have councillors and from all the way from Mackenzie up at high level all the way down to southern part, Medicine Hat.
But the biggest benefit is having so many resources come together to share ideas, possible alternatives, and network.
It's also a chance to change ideas, to use what other areas are using in agriculture, and they can share what we have.
What they're looking to get out is what we're doing up here, so they can maybe bring it back home and maybe change things that they do.
Over the 3 days, the group will be touring different farms, agricultural research centers, and will be treated to some of the more unique attractions to the area.
We do have everything from huge elk farms to bison farms to our main thing is cattle and grain. We're also showcasing the air base and Imperial Oil sands.
The tour wraps up on Thursday. At Four Wing, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
The Lloydminster District Co-op has announced the sale of its downtown plaza. Now, Prairie North Health Region bought the facility, which currently houses several health services in the building. Megan Willis has more on this story.
Prairie North has been a tenant at the Co-op Plaza since 2006, and over the years they have expanded to occupy over 70% of the building.
I think that's what they're looking at it from that standpoint is they've already got a solid base here, and it allows them to expand their operations and grow, not just for today, but into the future as well.
With Prairie North occupying more than half of the space, Stevenson says it only made sense for Co-op to sell.
Having that relationship with Prairie North that's developed over the last number of years, them as tenants within the facility, and as their tenancy grew in terms of the total space, it just was a good win-win situation for both parties. So.
With the plaza under new ownership, Co-op says now they can focus on what they do best.
It'll allow us to get back to, concentrating on our core competencies, and that's really in the grocery and petroleum and the agricultural sectors and propane sectors. That's where, that's where we, I guess, make our mark in business.
Prairie North say that they have been acquiring more space in the building throughout the years in an effort to serve a rapidly growing Lloydminster and area.
Very much trying to make it a one-stop shop for the residents of Lloydminster and surrounding area, and I think this allow us to do that in a cost-effective way.
With the new purchase of the plaza, Prairie North says they plan on focusing on children and family health care services. Megan Willis, Newcap News.
Well, we're just one sleep away from the annual Colonial Days Parade here in the border city, and with both officials and float owners busy with final preparations, our Bart Padiasic gives us a preview of what this year's kickoff has in store.
Candy is being put in place as Heather Dow and her team put finishing touches on this year's city float.
Just last week we started putting it together in between other projects. Obviously we have a lot on the go here at the Civic Center.
The city chose a hockey theme this year to celebrate the upcoming Hockey Day in Canada in Lloydminster.
We've got the mayor situated at center ice with his 2 finalists of Mayor for a Day that will be joining him on the float. And we also have a couple of volunteers from the City of Lloydminster staff that have volunteered to be Don Cherry and Ron McLean to do our CBC Coaches Corner.
We're not on here yet, but we're getting some iPads and stuff that they use nowadays.
And with this year's theme being 100 Years of Lakeland, Vern Bexon shows off the exhibition's own float in honor of the school's past and future. They'll join more than 100 floats currently registered. Both his father and his grandfather were involved with the exhibition and says he remembers the parade fondly.
I've always watched it ever since I've been a kid, and you know, it just kicks off the fair, and it's one of those things you just can relax and sit and watch everybody having fun.
Harvey has seen his own share of parades as well. He's been volunteering for the exhibition for over 20 years. This time he gets the honor as one of the parade's official marshals. He describes how excited he was when he found out.
I wasn't sitting down, I would have fell down. I wasn't aware of it till the president came to my truck here, I think it was at 4-H days, and told me about it and if we would accept it, and I said we would be glad to.
As for Dow, she says she can't wait until they finally show off their work tomorrow.
Oh, it'll be great. I don't think they expect it, and I think this is only a little piece of the pie of what's going to come in January.
The parade will be broadcast live tomorrow on CKSA. Bart Padiasic, Newcap News.
And along with the Colonial Days Parade, the city has announced street closures for the following areas. Now, the whole parade route will be shut down to traffic from 8 a.m. to 10 tomorrow. Now, for more information, you can go to the city's website. Well, in this week's Pet Project, Stephanie and Graham introduce us to Lena, 6-year-old long-haired dachshund, and Omar, a 5-year-old cat. They're both looking for their forever homes.
This here is Lena. Lena is a 6-year-old long-haired dachshund. She has had her first round of vaccines, but will need a booster shot, and she is also not spayed, so she will need to be spayed before she goes to her new home.
Lena is 6 years old, and she can be adopted for $125 under the senior program, or if you're a senior yourself, you can adopt her for free. Very playful and energetic. She has a lot of energy to burn. Since she has longer hair, she will need the occasional brushing to get away any mats. And yeah, she needs a house with lots of stimulation and lots of attention. So if you think you're that home, then come on down and check her out.
This cuddly big kitty is Omar. Omar is approximately 5.5 years old. He is neutered, up to date on vaccinations, microchipped, but will need his rabies vaccination. And also Omar went through a pretty bad accident.
When Omar came into the shelter, it was January and it was really cold out, and he was trying to keep warm in a car engine. He's healed up really well from any injuries. He just has a short tail and a white patch on his back where the skin has grown back. He gets along really well with other cats and is in the cat condos down here at the shelter. And he just loves to snuggle and cuddle and is just always looking for attention. So if you think he's a cat for you, come on down and see him.